Hey guys, I'm Miss Krystle. I am an entertainment attorney. I'm the owner of Dukes Up Records, and most importantly, I'm an independent musician. Alright you guys, so let's get right into this. I'm going to show you how to register your music through the Library of Congress, and I'm going to start from the very simple. You're sitting at your computer, so go to your browser of choice, and you're just going to type in Library of Congress, there we go, copyright registration, and U.S. Copyright Office comes up immediately. There's a link to register, click on that, and then this blue bar to the left, you're going to do your filing electronically. You can do snail mail, you can do paper filings, that kind of thing, but it's just not as efficient. And guys, this whole thing is going to take no less than probably 9 months. Copyright Office is very slow, so you want to make sure you're always filing electronically. All right, and then you want to make sure you have an account set up. This is super helpful because as you go along and you register more works, you can keep track of things. You can download copies of your application by using your account portal. So I already have one set up. I'm just going to log into mine. All right, so from here, there's a lot of information. I really don't like government websites, and so that's another reason I wanted to do this video for you guys, and just to really simplify it. Just go to Register a Work, and underneath there is Standard Application. There's some initial information that you'll want to read, but to get started, you just hit Start Registration. All right, so first and foremost, it's asking the type of work that we're registering. There are options if you are a filmmaker and you're registering a motion picture. There's literary works, you're registering your book or maybe a screenplay, visual arts. For today, we're registering a sound recording, or AKA your music. So select sound recording, and it drops down a bunch of information so that you feel confident in your selection. So it says the sound recording would be, for example, an MP3, a .wav file, etc. And then you have to click this button saying, I did in fact read everything and I feel confident this is the correct option. Hit continue, and then from here, we're now on the titles page. So as we work through, these are the different items that we're going to need. Now, the really good news is that for most songwriters, there's usually not a lot of other people involved in what we do. So if you are the sole producer and songwriter for your projects, you're just going to be repeating a lot of the same information through this, so it ends up getting pretty quick. And then once you've done it a few times, even if you have collaborators and other people with information you have to input, it gets real easy. So from here, we're going to hit New. And for this work, we're going to, it asks a couple questions. So it wants to know, is this the title of the work being registered? Is this a previous title? Is it a series? So more times than not, you're just going to hit the title of the work being registered. Now, what we're registering is the song for this music video. The song's called Save Yourself, and Save Yourself has already been released, and so this is usually the average musician. We need to now register and just make sure that we're protected. So we're doing the actual song registration. It's called Save Yourself. Here we go. And then hit save. All right, so if we had other works that we were filing, for example, if this was an album, we could do everything right now. So the title of the work would be the album name, and then from here we'd be inputting all the individual tracks applicable and associated with that album. So you can do it in one shoot, which is pretty nice. All right, so from here, click continue. Okay, and then this is your publication page. So now it's asking, has this work been published? In most instances, it is, but it's okay if it's not. So if you're doing your due diligence before the song comes out, understanding that the Copyright Office takes a really long time to get the certificate back to you, and you want to file this before it actually comes out, that's okay. You're just going to want to select no. In this case, the song is available on all music platforms, so it has been published. And then because the answer is yes, it's going to generate a couple more questions. So the nation of first publication is the United States. The year of completion is 2018. And the date of first publication, so I just, for me, I just pulled up really fast. I did a Google search. So Miss Krystle, iTunes, Save Yourself, and then it pulls up the date. So it was October 26th of 2018. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay, and then there's some additional international numbers and things like that that you can put in, as well as a pre-registration number. This stuff is not usually applicable to anything that I'm registering, but if you want to go that extra degree or step, you can. So from here, I usually will just go back, hit continue. All right, so that information's now been input into your application, and you're going to now be in the authors section. So from here, click new. And guys, when you're putting in your information as artists, remember, you're not actually putting in your artist name. You want to make sure you use your legal name, because the whole purpose of this is it's a prerequisite to bringing an enforcement action in a court of law. And so in order to enforce, you're going to enforce as your legal self. So that's why you put in your legal name. You're going to put in your citizenship or where you're domiciled, but just remember this is an or. And then also, just because this isn't really touched on too much by other videos that I saw about how to register your copyright, what this is right here, it has individual authors, and then on the right, there's one for organization. So if a company owns the material for some reason, let's say you started a record label, and the record label now owns this piece of content, you would put, let's say, Dukes Up Records. That's my company. So here we would put Dukes Up Records as the owner, but since this is owned and registered as me individually, then that's why I'm putting my legal information. Okay, so now it's asking check the appropriate boxes to indicate the author's contribution. So the author created the sound recording. Now for other registrations, like for example, when I do registrations for my clients that are film, in the film there's going to be things like the screenplay, the sound recordings, the visual aspects. So there's a lot of different aspects to the registration that have to be kind of addressed. So we'll select that as number 1. Okay. And then we see down here under authors, we see my name. And then, even though I am the songwriter on this, I did have a collaborator. He goes by That Orco. So now we are also putting his name, so if he needed to enforce this, he could as well. Citizenship, also the United States, save. He contributed to the sound recording, save. And now we have the author information, hit continue. All right, so from here, we're now on claimants. So usually the claimant is going to be the same person as the author. That's more times than not true. In certain instances, though, a claimant can be someone that had a copyright transferred to them. So again, in the example of even a record label, an artist their song does really, really well, and the record label approaches them, they want to buy the song, so then they have it transferred to the record label for ownership. So now the claimant may very well be the record label claiming the copyright. Now, like I said though, in this instance, this is just going to be the same authors. So we're just going to regurgitate the information again. And the only difference here being that they're gonna just ask for an actual address. So I usually have a separate Word document just ready to go with just some information. Now, for purposes of this example, I'm not using my actual address, so we have 123 Happy Street, Unit 3. So we'll put that in, City of Phoenix. I am located in Arizona. All right, there we go. So again, our little red stars, these are the required information portions. And so it saved my information, the address, you see it all right there. Now we're going to do it for the other author, or claimant I should say, and save. Okay, so now we have the claimant information input, hit continue. All right, so limitation of claim, this is usually a page that you're just gonna skip, but I'm just going to touch on it for a second. The limitation of claim is if there just so happens to be a previous work, there happens to be something that you're not asserting copyright to because maybe it was a sample, maybe someone else owns it. So this is the portion that you would put some kind of limitation on your registration for. The average musician that I do registrations for usually do not have this in their works, but it does come up from time to time. So pay attention to that, but in most instances, you'll just hit continue over this page. All right, so rights and permissions. You may provide contact information for a person and/or organization to be contacted regarding copyright management information or permissions. And so this is kind of who do you want people to contact if there's questions about this particular application or registration. In this instance, I am the point person. I am Miss Krystle, so if anyone has a question about my song, they can contact me. So once you've put in your information, this is going to be another one of those that we just now do continue. And the next page is going to be about correspondence. And so now this is not if they just need to get in touch with you from a third party. This is going to be the actual Copyright Office. If the Copyright Office has questions, who do they contact? So again, I'm going to be the point person. Easy breezy, hit continue. All right, guys, we're about 75% done. If you made it this far, good for you. The next step is your mail certificate. So where do you want this certificate to go once it's actually generated? I don't remember if I mentioned this earlier just yet, but right now the processing time is about 9 months with the Copyright Office, if not more. And so once you actually file, it goes to the Copyright Office, they have to do their thing, and it takes a really long time to get that certificate. So keep that in mind, but in any case, for this, once again, I am going to be the point person. And the other thing too, guys, that you have to remember is that you want to be pretty detailed with the information that you input, because as of right now, when you input information, if you make a mistake, you actually cannot make a correction until you get the registration. So that means if you made a mistake and then you get the registration, let's say a year later, now you need to file an amendment, and so it just causes even more time. So you just want to make sure that you're kind of paying attention, and that's why even the cut and paste method with the Word document might be helpful. Special handling. This is not something I have ever used to date, but if you have some special handling requests, this is where you can do it, so I will just skip over this. Your certification, so you're going to, under 17 USC 506E, an acknowledgement that you're filing, that this is, truthful, that it's accurate, so you're going to click this I certify box. Hit continue. And then this last page is a review and a synopsis of everything. So once again, you're going to go through very carefully. You're going to make sure all the information that you inputted is correct, that you didn't forget any other authors, any other copyright claimants. And when you feel good that you've reviewed everything, then what you're going to do is hit add to cart. Now, because I have some information that was just used for demonstrative purposes and just kind of walking you guys through this, I'm going to have to go back and kind of, put in actual addresses and things like that. But once you hit the add to cart, it actually takes you out to a payment platform. So it's secondary. So it says, hey, I'm taking you from this website, and you do the acknowledgement, and then it'll give you two options. You can either pay using a direct deposit method, so you put in your account number, your routing number, or and this is the one that I use solely, you can pay by credit card, and so you just put in your credit card information. At the time of this recording, the filing fee is $55, and just remember that you can file multiple works at once, so long as the information for the works is the same. So if it was the same authors, is it the same copyright claimants, then you can kind of get it all done, and you only have to pay that filing fee one time. Once you pay, it takes you to a new page, and so it asks you to upload an example of your work. So what you want to do here is just, if you have your MP3, your WAV of your song, you're going to want to upload that directly to the Library of Congress. There are things like feature films that you're going to need to actually mail in, but the good thing for us musicians is that everything can just be done electronically. So make sure you have a copy of your song ready to go, and you'll upload it at that point, and then it creates this glorified file keeping of not just your registration, but also of an actual piece of the creative work. So if you need to pull from it at a later date, the Copyright Office now has that. So make sure you go through those steps, fill out the application, pay your fee, and then you're gonna upload a copy of your creative work. And then from there, you're just gonna wait, quick 9 months or longer. You'll get your certificate, and make sure you scan that in and back it up a whole bunch of places. All right, you guys, if you made it this far, then you are the real rock stars. You take your careers very seriously, and you want to protect yourself, and you're going to protect yourself. That's what I'm excited about. As an entertainment attorney, I have clients who call me all the time. They need help with registering their copyrights, and we're absolutely happy to help, and we'll do the legwork if really this isn't, something that's a problem for the client. They just want to hand it off, but in more instances than not, the client, is kind of strapped for cash and they just need help. And so my goal here is just to make sure that everyone still has the protection that they need, even if you're a starving artist, even if you're just starting. And so not just with this initial pass through that we did together, but get in there and just even go through an application. Put in all of the information, even if you are not intending on filing, but just to kind of feel comfortable. So when it does come time to register, you're going to be set up and you're going to be able to comfortably go through the application. I mean, shoot, even as we were sitting here, I think it took me maybe 15, 20 minutes. And so it's a pretty quick process. It's just so very much about how comfortable you feel that you had your information ready to go ahead of time. So with that all being said, guys, I'm really excited. I started this new series just to help independent musicians learning things like marketing your music on social media. Let's talk trademarks. Let's talk copyright, how to grow your career. And these are all things that I've learned over the last 20 years in the entertainment field and that I just want to share and help as far as spreading the knowledge and just overall presenting this idea that we can work together, that we can help each other. And so with all that being said, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and then hey, hit that bell notification so you don't miss another video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye guys.